All right. Well, thank you very much, first of all, for the
No
opportunity
worries.
from the whole OkTennis team. And well, I would like, as the English says, ladies first. So we can start from WTA, who is one of the questions. Besides the most obvious question, who is your candidate for the victory at the Roland Garros? The main question would be if you think that Iga Świątek would be the next, I don't want to say the next nominator of the circuit, but after so many years of Interrain or WTA searching for a big leader, with players struggling with personality issues or role issues in the tournaments and in the circuits, if you think that she, due to the big season she's having, might be the new leader of the WTA in the next seasons.
Yeah, I mean, you have to pick her at the moment. I mean, she's won 28 matches in a row. She's dominating women's tennis. As Ash Barty retired, she stepped onto the #1 spot. And Jesus, we all thought, how is she going to handle that pressure? And you know, is the pressure maybe will it get ahead of her? But that didn't happen. It actually made her even stronger and even more so believing in herself. And I would say that I mean, to a certain degree, Ash Barty was dominating women's tennis for a while. I mean, we didn't have that dominance what Serena Williams had or a few other players before. I totally agree. But no, Iga is on the right track, and she's certainly the one you know, entering Roland Garros as the hot favorite, because it seems like she's forgotten how to lose. And I can only imagine the way she steps on the court now is that you know, she is so sure about herself, about her actions on the court, and it's always great to see. We always knew that her tennis is fantastic, but it was a bit vulnerable, which she talked about as well, mentally. But that's all in the past. The moment she goes out there, and she seems to know that she's going to win that match. So I definitely agree that she could be the next thing, you know, the next woman who will dominate tennis for a while. But we all know that those winning streaks, they don't last. There will be one point coming where you lose a match. In tennis, you cannot win a whole year. You know, in the past it showed, and even with like the likes of Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams, Steffi Graf, they always had losses in between. So I'm sure she's hoping this is not going to come. She probably doesn't even think about that. But we hope that it's not going to come during Roland Garros, because I think she would really deserve to win that title once again in Paris.
Yeah. And yes, of course, after also the Sunshine Double and Rome, and so
yeah.
Talking about being in the zone and winning streak, there has been a lot of talking about Alcaraz as the new big
Next
ticket for
thing.
the male between the male players, and especially after the last results, you know, he built up also this kind of trust in himself and his plays, and he has also the right mentality, especially talking about the lost generations of the last year. And do you think it can be the real name after, as I said, generations destroyed by the Fabulous Four, and players struggling to find the role in this between these holy?
Yeah. You know what,
saints?
I was thinking it's actually a good time when he was born, because if you were born, you know, just a little bit earlier, a few years earlier, it was so much harder to make it, because those top three, the big three, they were still dominating so much, and now they're starting to struggle a little bit. I mean, we know Roger Federer hasn't played for a while. Rafa's leg or knee injury or whatever it is, it seems to bother him these days. But I mean, boy, unbelievable the way he's developed in the last couple of years, and how quickly he's developed. Carlos Alcaraz, he lost only 3 matches this year. He won, I think it was 28 or something like that. Unbelievable. And he's beaten all of them. He's beaten every single player out there. And he just has this raw power. And I think Juan Carlos Ferrero is doing an unbelievable job. I got to speak to him last year, at the end of last year in Vienna during the tournament, and he said he's really not his coach, but is mentoring him also in you know, a lot of other things, how to be a good person and how to behave, you know, not to take private jets around. And I remember when he won UMAG, he was offered a private jet to go to Kitzbühel, and he actually denied. Juan Carlos Ferrero said, no, you're taking a normal plane, you know. So he's keeping him grounded as well. And that's great to see. And tennis wise, I mean, the power he has, the strength, the speed, the quickness he has is like bringing tennis to a different level. And it's just an unbelievable pleasure to see that, because we were waiting kind of for somebody like that. I mean, we have, you know, Zverev, we have Tsitsipas, but this is a completely different type of tennis. And I think that Alcaraz will also push that other generation, you know, that next generation before him, actually, like Tsitsipas and Medvedev. He will make those guys better players down the track as well. So it's really exciting, and I can't wait to see him compete at the French Open. I mean, the question is just, does he have that experience, that Grand Slam experience, you know, over the course of 2 weeks, 5 sets, best of 5 sets? And that's just different, and I think that's where the experience definitely comes into place. I mean, he's gotten better and better throughout his career, but he's still a very raw diamond, so that's a different challenge for him. But I think especially this year, all eyes are going to be on Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, and also the choice not to play in Rome might be very wise, considering also the young age.
Yeah, he's played so much. I mean, I think it's smart not to play Rome and you know, give your body a rest. It's certainly not about having matches under his belt. He's had enough matches. The key is to be fresh, I think, for him.
I have just a couple of more questions. The one is really obvious. You have Novak and you have Rafa. Novak had a very struggling beginning of the year with the Australian Open, and now he came back very rusty in Monte Carlo, and then in Madrid, and then suddenly found himself in Rome. And then you have Rafa on the other side, struggling with this syndrome and his foot. Do you think they can be really again the men to be beaten in Paris, especially thinking about that Roland Garros is the home of Rafa Nadal?
Yeah, exactly. That's why you can never write off Rafa Nadal in Paris, I think, because it's his favorite tournament. That's where he's had his best results. I mean, he's the king of Roland Garros pretty much, and I'm sure he's gonna give everything that he will play pain-free. I think that's the most important thing. I don't know what he's going to do to be able to, he knows his body very well. It would be really sad to see if he couldn't compete because of his injury. We remember last year he got injured against Novak in was it the quarterfinals or something? And it would be really nice to see him, you know, play uninjured, I think, because then he's very hard to beat, even though he might have not had too many matches lately. But I think once he enters Philippe Chatrier, especially, he knows exactly what to do. And then on the other side, Novak Djokovic, I think he found his form. Don't forget, he's only played, I think, 5 tournaments this year. He's barely played any tennis. And I think he's the kind of guy, he doesn't need a few matches to get going. And he's done well. He's won this last tournament. He won he won in Rome. And I think he's ready. I mean, he said it as well in his interview there. I have felt great. And when Novak feels great, you know, he's dangerous.
Worries for everybody else.
And we know he hasn't played the Australian Open, so he's going to be super keen to do well in Paris. And he's got a few points to defend as well. He wants to stay number 1 in the world and utilize this time, because who knows what's going to happen, you know. Obviously, Daniil Medvedev, he can't play in Wimbledon, so it's all, you know, it's an important time for Novak Djokovic as well. But I think he's ready, so that's why it's gonna be exciting for sure. Once again, you know, with the mixture of those, I can say, 3 generations, you know, with Nadal, with Novak, and then you have Tsitsipas, who's played well too, and Zverev and a couple of others, and then you have Alcaraz. So I think it's going to be a treat for all of us.
Yes. And my last questions. One last question. You know, we are Italian. We have this stupid vice of thinking about Italian players, and
of course,
ask everybody what
I was
they think about
wondering when
Italian
there will
players.
be the first question
And,
coming.
yes, and we have Berrettini playing until the grass season, of course, and at the same time we have Sinner, who there's a lot of rumor and talking about Sinner as the next generation player for Italy, the next top player of Italy, and he's been put aside of Alcaraz for the next season, but the fact is he needs still to win a top 5 match. So he changed his trainer recently. He has lots of injuries recently. So are we living an illusion? What do you think about that?
No, I don't think so. I'm convinced he's gonna make his path. I said it last year, and I'm still gonna at the beginning of the year, I'm still gonna say it. I think that Jannik needs to get physically still a little bit stronger, build more muscle. He's very lean. He's very skinny. I mean, if you look at Alcaraz and Sinner, there's a big difference there. And I know bodies are different. You know, Sinner is probably a kind of guy. He doesn't have that body shape. But also give him some time to get used to his new team. I don't know what the reasons were from him splitting with Riccardo Piatti, but it seemed to be time. They've been together for a very long time, so he probably needs to adjust a little bit to that new situation. But I'm not worried about him. You know, people and players develop in a different speed, and in tennis, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon, as we know, and players develop differently. And I think he's just out of the top 10, right? So that's also not a bad thing, and I'm sure he's keen to break into the top 10 once again, and he will do that. So tennis players go through a few ups and downs, and this is probably a bit of a challenging time for Jannik, but I have no doubt he's South Tyrolean, so he's strong.
Okay.
No worries.
No, we hope so.
Yes, we'll see. And then you have Fognini, and you have a few other ones. Musetti, exactly.
I'm curious to see him in Roland Garros.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, vielen Dank. Es hat mich gefreut.
Ja, gerne.
Bedanke mich sehr gern.
Piacere. Ciao.
Okay, tschüss.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you. Bye.